Okay, so a real quick education here. What we do is we use grease, axle grease, on these bolts. And I put it in a little tube like so. This comes to you already greased up. And it comes to you in these holes. Now, it doesn't come with the risers actually attached.
And the riser's going to have a curved edge that goes down in there to make a pocket because that won't fit.
Correct. Now, only use your fingers, when you take them out, use your fingers to start them. Don't go all the way. You're going to go in like so, and then go ahead and do the next one. The grease is for galvanic corrosion, to keep, especially in salt water, to keep the parts from seizing together. You've got stainless on stainless. There's a soft metal. Do not crank down on that thing. Do not use a power tool, even though we're going to be using a power tool. Because this is a very lightweight power tool, and this man has an experience, remember, about how to use that and not get too torqued. But remember, he's already fed it in there. If you try to use a power tool and it's slightly misthreaded, you're going to strip it. And that's not covered on the warranty, folks.
The other thing is, if you have a battery drill that has an adjustment, set it very light. I've got it on 9. That will stop you from stripping that out.
Or just use the hand tool.
Or use a hand tool.
Right. And speaking of hand tools and drill tools, we're going to talk about this, but we don't need to show it. Hold that up for me. These nuts are what we call nylock. Nylock means it has nylon inside the nut that locks it in place, so you don't need a lock washer. Yeah, it'd be hard to see, but the idea is that this little nylon piece acts as a grip to stop the bolt from working its way out, from rattling. The thing is, if you use a power tool to spin that sucker on, the nylon will heat up, seize to the aluminum. That's it. You're going to have to get a tool and cut the bolt off, and then you got to find another tool because you don't get lots of extras. So do not use power tools to spin these bolts into place. Either one, the ones that go on the riser. If you ever put a spark plug in, you know that you just put it to finger tight and then you give it a little bit of a turn. That's how you do this. Every once in a while, for maintenance, you want to take a tool and just release it a little. You want to release it a little bit, then come back in just to move it. Maybe if you want to release it, but we're talking every 3, 4, 5 months. But if you sit in salt water and let it sit for a year, 2 years, and you have an accident or something, you break one of these, they are very, very hard to break. But if you did, and you have had it sitting for 2 years, it's going to seize. And then you're going to strip it coming out, and that's going to be a big mess. All you have to do is every once in a blue moon, undo it, redo it.
In most places, you got a fishing season at the beginning and end of the fishing season.
A little maintenance will go a long way towards a lot of happiness in the end. So there you go. Stay tuned. We got more coming. Okay, so we are ready for the next step. We're back at the Hobie, and we are installing. Now, one side is already done. The cross tube in the front. First, you have to determine, square, and that's easy. You take a square, you put it on here, and you find, in this case, we're going to be putting it across his boat in this position. You have to make sure that you measure how far your pedals go forward. And he has some things interfering with it because of the way his grab handle goes is kind of in the way. So we could remove that, put the cross tube farther forward, and then relocate this. But since he's going to be doing a motor, and it wouldn't interfere with just a little bit of the stroke of the pedal drive, he just said, screw it, put it right here. So screw it, we're putting it there. Well, anyhow, if you can look underneath, this might be a tight squeeze, you can see, there we go, that the flange I've already mounted, that's going to take the weight, and it has these special rivets. And show them that rivet, Jim. This one, but show them the expanded one that's already.
Oh.
These rivets, that's how they expand. Of course, they'll expand all the way like a toggle bolt. Don't get regular rivets. Do not use standard rivets. These are special.
When you send rivets. The kit, do you send these with it?
I send that. Yeah, they come with the kit. The kit has pretty much everything you need. Okay, go ahead and let's show them how you do this. And as we are going, we've already drilled the hole. And show them that flange real quick. Just show them that flange. So the flange has, we don't drill the holes because you might have to drill the holes somewhere else. You drill them so that the rivet goes in there. And you don't need but 3 because it's the stress is going up. And see, finagles it in there. Well, we've already determined where it went. We drilled that hole. Now he's going to do a pop rivet.
You only drill one hole.
Drill 1, do the pop rivet. Drill 1, do the pop rivet. Drill the 3rd.
Because chances are, if you drill all 3 of them at one time,
they ain't gonna line
you're never going to hit them.
Yeah, that's from an experienced man talking. And this tool will show you a little bit. And you just pop the rivets in and it calls it pop rivet because it goes pop. Show them that tool. Home Depot or wherever. Like $12, $15, something like that.
Standard pop rivet. And
that's what we do. When we are done with that, what we're going to do, now that we have that, we're going to make sure that it's square. We're going to take a drill, and there's a drill kind of like a press, but we're going to go through this, down through the plastic, through the flange underneath, so that the bolt is not you're not relying on the strength of this plastic that comes with the Hobie or whatever brand you have. Now you have this backing here, which is stout, and those rivets coming from that direction, you're not going to rip this up. This is not going to happen. So it's a very stout connection. And as a matter of fact, we'll show you just how stout. We'll lift the entire boat up using them. Next phase is coming up. Stay tuned and subscribe. All right, next stage. We have installed this side of the cross tube. Now we made sure with the square, show them the square there. We made sure with the square that the cross tube was indeed square. But remember too, is you have to mark and make sure that the cross tube is center. So we measured, well, I should say he measured, this is his build. I'm basically just watching him build his own boat in front of me. And so we measured to make sure that we got the center. And once we got the center of that cross tube, then we set that in place. Now, after we marked here, now this bolt is already drilled. I took this into my shop and I put it on the drill press so that the 2 holes, the top and the bottom of this 1.5 inch radius edge aluminum was straight. Then we brought it out here. We do 1 drill, put the bolt in, snug it up before you drill the other one. You go ahead and hit that one and show them. So the aluminum is drilled, but the plastic and the aluminum underneath is not.
Holds it up straight that way. See?
Yeah, let me see if I can get up underneath there. All right. So go ahead. All right. So he got an upgrade, by the way. We went with 5/8 or something bolts. Comes with 1/4 inch bolts, which are plenty.
5/16.
5/16. Is that what we ended up? Yeah.
Well,
so
5/8 would be a great.
Yeah. So we upgraded, but it's not necessary. We did 1/4 inch. And so now that we have that first cross tube square and straight, it's ready to hang one of the sets that we have, the set being the center hull with both runner rails on it. But then we also have to affix the aft. But we're doing something uniquely different on this one. We'll show you more about that when we get a little farther along. That'll be in the next part of the video. Subscribe once again. All right, we are here with the next part of this. We are to the point to where we're putting the cross tubes, the aft cross tube. This particular build has something different. Normally we use the flanges like we did on the front to make a bracket on either side, but his boat is rather busy. And by busy, I mean it's got a lot of stuff on him. And look at all the attachments and rigmarole there. I know, right? You could tell them all about that in another video. So here's what I've done is I've taken this little block, and I'll show you in a minute. I've taken this block, and what that does is that's a stopper. Since this is his wheels, this is where the beach wheels go. Instead of affixing this to the kayak and drilling holes where we would have to get really creative, actually would have had to take this and mount it back here, which would have interfered with the space of the the storage space. So out of expediency, it turns out to be the best thing to do is just to make this stoutly attached apparatus that the wheels come to be what we attach this to. So even though I mean the rails here will help keep it in, but it's just going to be strapped, because I'll show you a little bit more about that, how it's going to go together. Anyway, let's go over here and we're going to show you how to tap without using a tap. How to tap these screws. Go ahead and show them the screw.
No, it's
Yeah, a metal
screw.
Metal
so
screw.
It does its own tapping as it's
And then
put in.
and right,
And
but
then
you've
that's
got to drill the
block.
hole.
That's the block we're going to be using there.
Yeah, but when you drill the hole, you've got to use a drill bit that's slightly smaller
Yeah.
than the diameter of the threads.
Right, because you
So-
got to have something for the threads to bite.
Yeah.
So, when you line it up, I don't know if you can see it there, you should be able to see threads on both sides of that. It's kind of hard to see in the picture there.
Best thing to do is to do a test on a scrap piece of metal somewhere. Test your ability to, because if you strip the screw and break the screw off in the hole, you're in bad shape. All right, hold on just 1 second. Show him what you did there. All right, he's just lining it
Lined
up.
up and bumped.
That's the bump.
And then I'm going to actually start. Kind of mark it there. And I'm going to pull this out. Go ahead and drill that hole in there.
And this metal is rather soft. Working with aluminum and driving a stainless screw into it, it's pretty soft, and it holds pretty well.
So
All right.
everything looks like it's getting wet because of rain last night.
Yeah, is that what it is? It has nothing to do with sweat, does it?
No.
It's not the matter of fact that it's 97 degrees out here. That's what, hang on, wait, you got, look at here.
Yeah, I know. You do on the other side.
Oh, okay. And we use an impact tool there. I call it Bam Bam, because it goes bam bam. And voila. And so the idea too is that this can be easily taken off, and it's minimal amount of screw holes into the kayak. That's good. Stay tuned for the next part.